I'm outside the Downing Student Union here at WKU, and I've heard that we can get some really good support for our student organizations inside. Let's see if we can't go do that. Let's go check it out. Well, the sign says aid to student organizations. Let's see if we can get some of that. I think this is the door. All right. Hey, could I get some aid for my student organization? Oh, sweet. What's up, guys? So I've got my $100 from the beloved Student Government Association. They're going to help out this club, and we want to throw a party as we've been talking about. So what is that going to look like on a graph? What can we construct a model of this question? The answer, of course, it's economics. Of course, we're going to make a graph. Of course, we're going to make a model. That's what we do. So you know where we're going. What are we going to call this one? We're going to call this a budget constraint or a budget line. And we kind of need to set some parameters real quick. So let's do that here. All right. So we've got M, which is our income. That's our $100 that we've got from the SGA to throw this pizza party. And we've got two prices we need to be aware of. The price of what I've labeled as good Y, which we'll say is our 2 liters of Coke for $2 each. The price of good X, which is a pizza, that's $10 each. And a helpful equation, which is going to let us turn this information into a line. But before we get there, let's start very simple here. If we have $100 and our y-axis is going to tell us how many units of 2 liters we get, and our x-axis is going to tell us how many units of pizza we get. So we've got Coke and pizza, how much we get of each. If we have $100 and we only buy Coke, which is $2 each, we have $100, we only buy Coke, which is $2 each, $100 divided by the $2 each, that's going to tell us the most Coke we can possibly buy is, everybody say it with me, 100 divided by 2 is 50. 50 units of Coke. If we buy 50 units of Coke, we don't buy any units of pizza. Well, what will we call that? If we're going to make a budget line, and it is literally a line in the mathematical sense, what are we going to call that? What is this point where x equals 0 and y equals whatever it is on the line? Of course, this is our y-intercept, right? All right, well, that's pretty cool. What about our x-intercept? What is the point that represents if we spend all our money on pizza? We expend our whole budget just on the pizza. Well, the price of pizza is $10. Our income is $100. $100 divided by the price of pizza. If we only bought pizza, we took all our $100, we only buy pizzas, how many can we buy? Say it with me, 10. We can buy 10 pizzas. So then, where is our budget line going to be? This is, of course, our x-intercept. If all we buy is pizza, this is how much we can buy. If all we buy is Coke, this is how much we can buy. Our budget line, or our budget constraint then, will be the line that connects these 2 points. This is going to be our budget constraint or our budget line. And that should be a straight line, even if mine's got a little bit of a curve to it. That's a straight line, all right? From 0, 50 to 10, 0, right? Our 2 points that we've got here. So what does this line represent? Well, here's what's crazy. This line represents all possible combinations of Coke and pizza that we can afford. Don't believe me? Well, let's see here. What else is going to be on this line? Well, one thing we could do, if we start over here, we've got 10 pizzas. Maybe we don't want 10 pizzas. I don't know about you guys. I would hate a party where you show up and it's literally just food. There's no drinks, just a big pile of pizza. There's pizza for everybody, but there's not food, or there's not drinks for anybody. Well, maybe we just want to give up one pizza. Let's say we give up one pizza. We go this way. Instead of having 10 pizzas, we have 9. Well, what is this point going to be? If we use 9 pizzas instead of 10, well, how much money did that free up? Well, we saved $10, one pizza's worth of money. Well, how many Cokes can we buy? If we were spending $100 on pizza, now we're spending $90. That's $10 we saved. How many Cokes can we buy with that? Well, the $10 we saved divided by the $2 price of good Y, which is the Coke, the 2 liters. Well, this is 9, and then this would be 5, right? We could have 5 2 liters for that one pizza we give up. And we could do it again and say, maybe we don't want this many, maybe we want 8 pizzas. Well, how many more, you guys see where I'm going with this, how many more Cokes could we buy with this additional sacrificing one more pizza? How many Cokes could we get? We could get 5 more, such that we get this point. 8, 10. 8 pizzas, 10 Cokes, and so on and so forth, all the way up 7, 15, and 6, 20, and all the way up till we get up here. And just to make it super clear, over here we're starting at 0 pizzas and 1 Coke, 0 pizzas and 50 Cokes. Well, what if we say, okay, this is a party with only drinks and no food? That doesn't sound like a great time. Well, let's add a single pizza. Well, how many, if we want to add 1 pizza, get to 1 here. How many Cokes are we going to give up to get there? Well, you guys already know, it's 5, of course. We're giving up 5 of these to gain 1 of these, because the price is 1/5 as much, right? So this will be 45. So we can go from 0 to 1 pizzas at a cost of 5 Cokes. So I hope you guys are starting to see we can make this trade all the way up and down this budget line, or this budget constraint. To be super clear, we can afford any combination at or beneath this line, and we can't afford any combination beyond this line, right? Out here is the unaffordable territory, yeah? There's one other really cool thing that this line is going to do for us, and that is it's going to allow us to mathematically see opportunity cost on a line. I think it's pretty slick. So how does that work? Well, opportunity cost is what you give up to get something. How are we going to visualize opportunity cost on here? Well, we can do that with slope. So, of course, you guys know slope. Slope-intercept form of a line is y equals mx plus b. Slope itself is the m. How do we calculate the m? Well, if you have a bunch of points like this, the easy way to calculate slope is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. You guys, of course, remember that. Oh my gosh, hey, don't lose me here. I know you guys are getting trauma from Algebra 1 or whatever, but hey, just bear with me. Bear with me. We're going to get there, all right? So we want to calculate slope. We just take 2 points just to make it super duper simple for us. Let's use the point 0, 50 and the point 10, 0. So 50 minus 0 for our y over, and the other point is going to be 0 minus 10, right? So our slope is going to be 50 minus 0 is 50. 0 minus 10 is negative 10. 50 over negative 10 is going to be negative 5. Our slope is -5. Well, what does that mean? Well, the negative is just telling you that there's a trade-off. If you want more pizza, you have to give up Cokes. So what's the 5 telling you? Slope is rise over run, right? If you want one more pizza, you have to give up 5 Cokes. The slope of this budget constraint shows you the rate at which you can trade pizza and Coke in the market. The rate at which you can trade the 2 liters for the pizza. You gain 1 pizza, you lose 5 Cokes, right? That's the rate at which you can trade between these. Is that pretty slick? We digging it? Yeah? Okay, so what is this cool formula over here that we started with? Well, this is literally just this budget constraint expressed in y-intercept form, such that we get quantity of good Y, in this case Coke, is equal to M over PY, income over the price of Y. Okay, what's our income? $100. What's our price of Y? $2. 100 divided by 2, this is 50. What does that represent? That's our y-intercept minus the price ratio, the ratio of the price of good X to the price of good Y, right? PX over PY. Well, what is PX? That's 10 over 2. 10 over 2, of course, 10 divided by 2 is just going to be 5. And then X is our variable over here. Y equals mx plus b, which is to say, we already know the slope is -5. Here's that slope over here. Y equals 50 minus 5x. Coke is equal to, or our 2 liters that we get to consume is equal to 50 minus 5 times the number of pizzas we consume. Yeah? You guys stoked? You guys get it? So what was the point of this model? It was to allow us to mathematically express a budget. We got 2 goods we want to buy. We've got an income. We've got an amount of money we're starting with. How much of this stuff can we buy? That's what this is going to help us do. Well, we've got this income. We're buying stuff. What else is this going to help us do? Well, it helped us show visually opportunity cost, the rate at which we can trade between pizzas and Cokes. Now, and of course, we get to see it as a very simple algebraic function, as a line. Now, I do want to be super clear about this. This model is very useful in economics. We have just scratched the bare minimum surface of this model. We can do all kinds of stuff with this model if we want to. We can add additional income dollars and expand out our budget. We can contract our budget, take dollars away. We can raise the price of Coke. We can lower the price of pizza. We can play with this budget constraint all kinds of ways. We can even add some way of measuring utility or a consumer's preferences to this model, which we'll call indifference curves. But in this course, we're going to skip all that. If you take intermediate microeconomics, which here at WKU is Econ 302, you'll get into all those different applications of the budget constraint. Right here, I just wanted us to start thinking with graphs, start thinking with math, and really get a visualization of opportunity cost. So hopefully you guys can play around with these numbers. If I give you an example problem, it hopefully shouldn't be too crazy for you guys, relatively straightforward. And yeah, that's pretty much it. This is the budget constraint for this silly little example we've done. We'll call it right there. And let me know if you got questions. Thanks, guys. Woo!